right, so who do I have here with me today?
You can call me Bird.
Bird. That's a cool name. I love nicknames. So, all right, Bird, how old are you and what's your current living condition?
I'm 51, and my current living conditions are I'm on the streets.
You're on the streets.
Yeah.
That's awful, man. I'm sorry to hear that. So,
It's all good.
yeah, what's a day in a night life like for you?
Well, it's hard to get stuff done when you're homeless. Like, even if you have like a daily schedule set, like you wake up, you got to find something to eat. Usually that means you got to go to like St. Vincent de Paul or whatever, but you got to take the bus there or walk or,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a bike, so I'm on foot. I don't have a bus pass most of the time. I mean, I've been lucky. I had a bus pass up until yesterday,
Yeah.
but I couldn't even go this morning. Like I was supposed to go get an ID this morning. Now I was kind of proving a point to myself. I didn't go on purpose, but
Yeah.
like I had no way to get there. I needed to go to the library so that they could give me a ride to Cass from the library, but I had no bus pass. And
Cass is far.
Cass is far, and the library was far from where I was.
Of course, yeah.
And I didn't want to walk all the way there. Now they would have given me a bus pass at Cass, but it's this whole thing. Like I went to the library. I have no ID and no phone right now. Okay. So I had like the Hope Project roll up, and they gave me a bunch of information.
Yeah.
And she said, come over to the library and apply for these free phones online.
Yeah.
And I'll let you use the general delivery address.
Okay.
Well,
of course.
I went over and I started getting on all the free phone websites, and all of them require
ID.
Well, no, they all require an email address.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course.
Here's the
Naturally.
thing: I don't have a phone, and the only way to set up an email address is if you have a phone to text the code back to.
Correct. Yeah.
So I went back over to the Hope office, which is right in the library, and I said, I explained the situation. I don't have an email. I came to apply for these phones with information that I got from you guys, but I can't apply for a phone because I don't have an email. And the guy was like, well, if you come on Friday, they're here handing out phones, and then you can get a phone.
Okay.
And I said, I know there's a bunch of different companies. There's like at least 3 local companies that do
Yeah,
it.
that do that.
There's like Stand Up, and then there's a couple other companies. The thing is, I can't get a phone from Stand Up right now because they have my name listed, I guess, too many times.
Oh, yeah. I think there's like a limit, like 3 or something.
Right.
like
So
that.
like they said I have to call and cancel my stuff, and then they'll give me a phone in a couple months.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really do me any good being homeless.
Yeah, that's always the issue. Do you find that there's always a roadblock?
Yeah.
Whether it be trying to carry your stuff,
Yeah.
trying to keep your stuff.
Yes.
I mean, literally, it's everyone
All
I
of the
talk to,
above.
this is an issue.
All of the
They
above.
literally, there's people who have to do drugs, stay up at all night as
Yeah.
much as they can, so the last things that they have, their personal stuff, don't get stolen.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a big thing here. Showers.
Well,
it's awful.
and I know there's places where they have showers, but again, like they're in different spots on different days, so you have to know where they are. You have to have the list, then you have to have a way to get there.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, like one of my biggest things with being homeless is moving around. And I mean, if you have a bike, that's one thing, but even bikes are limited.
Yeah.
And if you have a bike or like a skateboard, you still need a bus pass.
Yeah.
Or a train card to get around. And like, the train you can hop on, you can usually get a few free rides or whatever.
Of course, yeah. Every once in a
And
while.
buses, occasionally they'll give you a courtesy ride.
Yeah.
But I've had more trouble on buses, like trying to get a courtesy ride. And it's like, look, and they're like, you have to pay. I'm like, well, I understand, like, you got to pay for public transport.
Yeah.
But if you're homeless,
They should at least give you
like,
a natural.
yeah, I mean, it's like, how are you supposed to pay for something if you don't have any money? And like, out of all the resources that I found, all the homeless outreach stuff or whatever, though, like, some of them will give you a one-day bus pass. Some of them, and like others might give you like a month card if you prove that you need it. But like, isn't just being homeless proof enough that you need?
It should be. I mean,
That's
naturally.
that's what I'm saying. But like, it's just resources in general. It's one thing on the surface, like there's the 211 number, like
Yeah.
that you can call for outreach. all they do is direct. It's like you call a 211 number to get other phone numbers.
Yeah.
It's just a listing for other phone numbers.
It's an
and then
around
you call those
Rosie.
numbers, and then you got to wait for them to call you back.
Yeah.
And like, for example, I called Phoenix Rescue Mission.
Okay.
And they're supposed to have neighborhood like specific things,
People,
right?
Things, yeah.
I left like 3 messages about being homeless and needing help, and it took them like 2 weeks to get back to me.
Yeah.
And that was when I had a phone,
Yeah,
and
that's awful,
it's
man.
like you call these numbers that they're like, hey, call this number for help, and you call and they don't call you back. As it turns out, after I got out of prison, I was in this respite where I was staying. I went to go apply for SMI benefits.
Of course, yeah.
Just to like see what I could get.
Yeah, food stamps, things of that
something.
nature. Something, anything.
I do have food stamps.
Oh, okay.
But I had a whole bad experience with somebody stealing my card a couple times. Anyway, it's all my fault. But
Yeah.
like the whole point is that people are constantly trying to take your stuff.
Yeah.
You got to keep an eye on your stuff. You got to pick up all your bags, carry them around with you.
That's the hard part.
I mean, literally just moving from one side of the block to the other can
It's
be
it's dragging.
big deal. So like on a daily basis, it's hard. It's hard to get anything done.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I had made it to CAS today, yes, I could have accomplished the ID. But like even just getting to go to the place where you got to go to CAS is like such an ordeal. And then the whole phone thing, like I have to find the one company that gives away phones without an ID.
Without an ID.
And without an address.
And it seems like most of them, you have to have an ID or
Right.
some sort of.
And there is a
identification.
company, there is one company out there out of the 3 that doesn't require ID and that I can get a phone from, but I can't find them anymore.
Yeah,
So-
it's always something.
so it's like-
man. That's awful.
It's not easy, and like you get a lot of misinformation, even from the people at the outreach places. They give you
Yeah.
misinformation.
Yes.
Another example, I fell asleep out here like right outside the gates
Sure.
for a couple nights in a row. First 2 nights there was other people sleeping there too, no problem, nobody said anything. The third night I was kind of out there by myself, and I was awoken by 3 rangers. Now they were super cool.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, I haven't had bad experiences with the police. They've been like cool with me. The Rangers, super cool with me.
That's
They've
good.
explained things to me.
Yeah.
But the reality is that there's no place to sleep if you're homeless.
True.
And
yeah.
like not even on, I thought it was sidewalk public property, but they said no, it's park property. So I had to move. So they woke me up in the middle of the night to move. Now, the last time I've also had police wake me up, like sheriffs, Maricopa County sheriffs. I was sleeping on the sidewalk. They said concerned neighbors called because it was like 3 a.m. and I was sleeping on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, you're impeding sidewalk traffic." And I looked around and I said, "Well, there's nobody walking like
like within 15 feet.
right."
Or
And he was
something.
like, "Well, he's like, you can't. You're not. There's no urban camping. There's actually an urban camping ordinance or whatever.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to sleep on the sidewalk." And I said, "Okay, well, I'm homeless. Like, where
can I go?
I asked the
Or
deputy,
can I?
like, where can I go?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, technically you're not allowed to sleep at the bus stop." And he said, "But if you go to the bus stop,
Yeah.
even if the bus stop is technically closed, you can, if anybody comes to give you a hard time, you just tell them you're waiting for the next bus,
Yeah.
And then if you fall asleep there, you fall asleep there. It's actually what I did last night.
Yeah.
After they woke me up out here, I went up to the bus stop on University,
Okay.
and I just sat at the bus stop all night, and like ended up falling asleep there.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, police drove by and saw me. They didn't, they can't really do too much because I
But I
was.
mean, you're not comfortable, man.
Well, you're not
I
comfortable,
mean, but I know. Yeah.
but it is what it is.
Yeah,
You got to do what you got to do. Anyway, it's not easy to find outreach that's actually there that actually
Yeah.
does something for you.
That are culpable and comparable enough to help in a real way.
Well, like,
man.
here's
I
the thing,
understand,
like
yeah.
it's a great idea in theory, like the Hope thing, right?
Yeah.
The Hope outreach program. They come by, they give waters. They say come by the library and get these resources. But then I go to the library to get the resources,
And it's not.
and I can't because I don't have an email address, and they can't help me with an email
Yeah, it's
address.
just blocks and blocks.
Right.
And that's what we're trying
So it's
to
like,
change.
I could have gotten a free phone mailed to me at the general delivery if I had an email. but you know what I'm saying? You can't get one without the other. So it's like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, freaking frack, man.
So
I'm
like
sorry.
again, you know, it's like another week without a phone.
Yeah.
And like even if I did go get an ID, what's an ID gonna get me? ID's not gonna get me anything.
Yeah.
You know, an ID's not gonna get me a stand-up phone because I already have too many of them. You know.
Yeah.
Now I guess if I found that other provider that took IDs, you know, then I could do it through them. But like, it's
just all
they don't. They advertise like that there's all these services, but when you actually like try to go get them,
it's not there. It's smoke and mirrors almost, so to speak.
And like I said, there's a lot of misinformation. Like people are like, oh, go here and they'll do this for you,
or do this and it'll be that,
right.
And then you'll go there and it's like,
and it's not at all what you're told.
Yeah,
and it's very frustrating, especially as somebody who actually wants the resources, you know, or could use them. So anyway, that's pretty much what a day in the life
that's
is like.
amazing. Like I ask everybody, man, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In a much different place.
I hope so.
In a
man.
much different place.
I hope so.
This is, you know, nothing lasts forever.
This is draining, man.
It is very draining. It is very draining.
I understand.
Nothing lasts forever. You know, it's the cycle though. When you're on the streets, it's not easy to get off.
Yeah.
And I've always said, like, you know, if I had money, one of the things I would do is like come out and like give people what they actually need. You know.
That's what I'm trying to do. There's already, you know, some people feeding and doing things of that nature, and that's amazing. I would rather, me and my family would rather help on a more intimate level. Like, hey, can I give you, if we had it, like, here's 1,000. Here's a
exactly.
You know, that's what
like I've always said. Even if you came out and you like, even if you just handed out some sandwiches or like cooked some hot dogs on the barbecue, and like honestly, like I would bring out like cartons of cigarettes.
Yeah, there you go.
And like and literally like hand out a pack of cigarettes on a lighter to like anybody that wanted one. You know, and like for as long as they last, because like you know, like for me, I
that
smoke.
goes a long way.
And like. And when you're homeless, first of all, just trying to get money for tobacco or whatever is crazy. And then have a, you know, and like have a hustle too, and then you gotta like hop on the bus to go eat, and like it's the whole thing. It'd be a lot, you know, if you gave people like the stuff that trips them up the most throughout the day. Like if somebody smokes, if you gave them a pack of cigarettes. You know, people can say whatever they want about, oh, that's not healthy or whatever. Yeah. But here's the reality.
But that was what really helps.
It's the little things, and even if it wasn't, you know, like 1,000, even if it was like $20 or $40,
something like that. I'm just saying that's like if I was rich. I'm saying it realistically, like a couple $100. Can I get you a hotel for a month? Can we do things like that?
Or you know, like there's a lot of cheap apartments around me. Like if I had the money, go rent a bunch of apartments and be like, here's the keys to a place. It's got lights. It's got water. It's got internet.
Do what you will.
It's even got furniture in it. You know, like go buy some like thrift store furniture. You know, you can get nice thrift store furniture.
Yes, that's
throw a couch. I mean, you can even throw a TV in there. Yeah. And you could be like, look, here, you know, it's just a studio or one bedroom. But you know what? Yeah. Like, if you're homeless, like 3-4 people could be staying there. You know.
That's what I want to do.
And like, and that's 3 or 4 people off the streets. And you give them a place to stay, and you give them a little bit of money, and then they have a place to go back to, and then they're not out on the streets all night.
Yeah, you know? then we knock off one of the most main components, and that's what I'm trying to do, man. Yeah. Me and my family. And we're gonna get to that goal, no matter how long it takes, man.
Same page.
Yeah.
I really appreciate attitudes like that because I understand, you know, I understand the state or like cities can only do so much, and that they're restricted by like, you know, their city ordinances and stuff.
Of course.
But at the same time, they're passing city ordinances that are making it harder for homeless people to even be homeless.
Pushing you guys farther and farther to the line.
And all they're doing is just shuffling. They're just shuffling the cards around from one city to the next.
There.
It's like, well, you can't sleep here, so you go over here.
Now we're Phoenix. Now we're in Mesa. Now we're in, you know.
Right. And like I've been all the way out from Sun City to Youngtown. Dude, I grew up in Sunny Slope. I went to Sunny Slope High School. Yeah. And you know, it was a lot different when I was going to high school there, like, than it is now. But I spent a few nights in Sunny Slope, and it's the same thing there, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, things used to be a lot different. I mean, things change, right? Time changes
Obviously,
everything.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like things progress. But like it doesn't matter where you go in Phoenix. Like in the homeless population, there's a lot of them are on drugs. You know, but like you said,
That's bad,
when you
yeah.
gotta stay up all night because you gotta protect your stuff. You know, you're worried about people taking your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I mean, I'm sitting here watching my backpack. It's not even like there's anything important in it. But like,
It's just your stuff.
it's like
Yeah.
all I got, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's not easy. It's not easy, man. But it doesn't make it any easier when there's all this outreach, you know.
And it's
It's frustrating.
Roadblock.
It's very frustrating. Very, very frustrating.
Well, man, I want to thank you for your interview, and it was
appreciate it.
amazing, man. Next time I see you, hopefully we can get a part 2. But if like I ask everybody, if there's something that you may want, and someone has the financial ability and they have the means to help you, what is it that you want, man? If someone sees this video and they say, I want to help him, what is it that you want? Hopefully someone might do it.
Honestly, for me, it's as simple as like a pack of cigarettes. You know, like or like, you know, like if somebody's gonna give me money, like I was in Scottsdale a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I was in the mall, like drinking some water, and a very nice lady, she asked me if I was hungry, and I said yeah, but you know I'm not like trying to take, you know, I'm not the kind of like hold up a sign. I do have a sign that I hold up sometimes, but a lot of times my sign doesn't even
It's just
say.
not your thing. Man.
It's just not the thing for me. And I've been blessed more by people without holding up a sign than I have with. But like every time somebody blesses me with like $20 or whatever, I usually go buy a pack of cigarettes, make sure I have a lighter, and I'll get like a drink and a little something to eat. You know.
Yeah.
Like if I have enough, I'll buy 2 packs of cigarettes. Like I've had people say go buy a burger.
Yeah.
And I'll go buy cigarettes instead. Just because I know that, like, I'm gonna, you know, and I know that I'll always be able to find something to eat eventually.
Yeah.
And I'm not, you know, like, food's great. Like, if people want to come, like, when they come give us peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and stuff, it's awesome. People, you know, like, I've given people leftovers before. Like, when I wasn't homeless, I've given people my leftovers. I'll take people's leftovers too.
Yeah.
But like, honestly, you know, if you want to bless a homeless person,
You gave me a good idea. Cigarettes. I think I'm gonna do that. I don't know how I'm gonna figure that out.
And like, even if you're not giving them a whole pack, like, you know, like,
what if I did rollies?
you know, you can get rollies cheap, and you could make up just like little packs with like a few papers.
Hey, so
and, like,
I brought a whole big old thing of tobacco.
Yeah.
And then would that be cool?
And like,
I think I'm gonna do that.
like, you know, like you can go get a thing like cheap Ziploc bags.
Yeah.
And you can get like cheap papers, you know, like buglers are cheap.
Oh yeah.
Just get like, you know, and you can throw like some papers and some tobacco in a bag, and you could just hand out bags with like, I mean, even if it's just like 5 or 6 rollies in it.
Yeah.
Dude, seriously, like that would change something like that small would change somebody, like a person like me. That would change my day, honestly.
Thank you for that advice. I'm gonna take it.
I mean, it's
seriously.
It just remember, it's especially for people on the streets. Like, you know, you see people dragging around carts full of stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
It's still the simple things in life.
Yep.
It's the simple things in life that make the biggest difference.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm gonna use that idea. I
welcome.
really am. That's awesome.
Well,
so, man, thank you
I
for
hope you
this
do.
interview, and
You're welcome.
I hope I get a part 2 from you of you doing a lot better than today. Do you mind me putting this on my social media platform?
No, not at all. Please
Thank
post
you,
it up.
sir. Yeah, thank you so much.
Please.
You're amazing. You're a gentleman and scholar. Can't wait to talk to you next time.
All right, thanks, man.
Yep.
Peace.